Hi, welcome back to Leo's Perspective. It is I, your host, Leo Love. This is a podcast that I have created on the spot where I document my journey into being a radio presenter. I am learning when watching the big people, like the people that I admire in various industries. And something they consistently say when they are interviewed is, I wish I documented my journey. I wish I documented my journey. I wish I documented my journey. I personally, at this point in time, I think because I don't have much evidence yet, I do not see how this footage will be useful. However, we're doing it anyway, because how many times has an elder or a master told you to do something and you didn't listen the first time and then you regret not doing it or not following the instructions? However, we're not doing this. We're not doing that, let alone with my career, right? So that's the whole purpose of Leo's Perspective. Last week, I should say, was all about learning the control desk, darling. Learning the different mics, when they're on, when they're off. Learning the different hybrids. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Learning the A's and the B's. Learning the keys for each show. Not that I need to know the keys for each show, because my show will be in the AM squad. I got picked up. I'm so excited. So I also got confirmation from Lundi, program manager, and Sia, who is the content production manager. They oversee VOW 88.1, Wits University radio show. And they told me, girl, Wednesday, 5 to 7, that's your show. So, as far as like being punctual, I would like to be there at 4:15. At 4:15, so that I am able, just to be calm, and it's going to be my first time. Now, I've been learning the control desks. Shout out to DJ T. Shout out to Greg, my main hitters, as far as like the people I've been sitting next to, who have been like explaining the whole thing. They've definitely repeated themselves a couple times, and it's fine. And I just appreciate the willingness to let, VOW 88.1 is like known to be like, this is where students come. This is where they learn. So it's a learning environment. So that's really nice. Everybody's learning essentially, from the software engineers to the content production people, to the technical team, to the talent, to sales, etc., etc. So I would say the environment of VOW 88.1 has been very welcoming, has been kind, and it's just vibes. Yeah, I'm just like chilling with like creatives, you know what I'm saying? And everyone is just like, we're just doing our best, and just like the typical like student energy, if you get what I'm saying. And if you don't know, I graduated from Vega School of Branding. So Vega School of Branding is like, advertising, branding, marketing. So the ambiance or just the vibe of the students is slightly different to VOW, where it's like more, well, with the students that I have been exposed to at VOW, it's more like artsy fartsy. It's more understanding the business side of radio, as well as understanding the talent side. And I think that's another thing that I've learned, like the beauty of understanding community radio from just a multi-dimensional perspective, multi-layered perspective. I've had to apply a lot of critical thinking. And aside from getting a show, aside from, meeting everybody, I also was fortunate enough to sit in a couple sales meetings. I have no idea what's going on. Radio sales is definitely, I've done sales before, but I've never done radio sales before. So that's definitely like a new genre, a new chapter in my life that I'm very nervous about, but I'm also curious. And then as far as like the content, like the features that I will have, I drew up a plan today. My one plan was cut. Sia, the head of the content management at VOW, he said, no, thank you. He said, no, it's already done by this station. It's already done by this station. No, try something else. So shout out to Uno Sitle. I sat with her. She's a content producer. And she was like, Miguel, let's try something else. And then, I was able to bounce off a couple ideas with her. So thank you to Uno Sitle. Shout out to you, girl. And also what I like about Uno Sitle, besides being like a content producer, she just like is the girl that she thinks she is, and I really appreciate the girls who just know. It's very inspiring. And I also feel like when you live in your light, you naturally like, your light, not to say it gives permission, but it encourages others to live in their light as well. So I appreciate her energy. I also met Nadia, and we were also sitting There's just so many new faces. I'm so sorry I can't recall everybody. But the faces I know, it's just learning the names is going to be difficult. I also met a new guy. His name is Daniel. Shout out to Daniel. Another thing that happened was I learned about like the back end, like as far as like the technical stuff. Girl, I ain't never been no software engineer, girl. So I don't know, girl. But basically, it's like the scheduling of the shows, like from 5 to 5:10, from 5:10 to 5:20, from 5:20, but like split now. Now it's like per 2 seconds, no, per 2 minutes. You see, per like 2 minutes or per like 5 minutes or whatever. And it like shows like different advertisements and like live reads versus like pre-recorded advertisements and like what's happening on the A and the B lines, and like I was like so confused. Now that's far as like scheduling, right? Like DJ T, shout out to Tabo, he was showing us like what happens from I think the engineer's perspective, or like the technical team, the people who have to like schedule. Let's say we have like, okay, classic example. Today was Val's birthday, 50th birthday. Hey. And all of the celebration was sponsored by Pick and Pay. Shout out. It was future sponsors. And there was multiple like live reads or advertisements that went on at Pick and Pay today, naturally so, because they sponsored the campaign and they sponsored their event. So he was just showing us like the importance of understanding it, not only as a part of being on the technical team, but also as a presenter. You need to be able to, stick to time. You need to be able to make sure you do the live read, make sure you do the advertisement when it has been called. And he also explained like the other back end of like the repercussions of not following through with a client's request for a radio spot, etc., etc. So that, sitting with DJ T is overwhelming in the best way possible. Because one thing about DJ T, he's going to educate you. And he's not just speaking to you. He's speaking to like 3-4 people, and he's teaching us all. Like he always has it's like a joke at Val. He always has like a mini class with him. And I think that's just a testament of how much he really knows his craft. And 2, I think the great thing about his willingness to teach other people. I think that's really cool, because just because somebody knows somebody doesn't mean they are generous with their knowledge. It doesn't mean that they are kind in their delivery, because he does repeat himself a couple times. And I think that's his charm. That's what makes him charming. He's kind and he's patient and he's great in that regard. So shout out to Tabo. Shout out to DJ T. Shout out to the people that for the past 2 weeks who have been so patient with me with learning the control desk. I can only imagine how it is running a whole show on air, on radio, and you have this person next to you like, what's that? What's that? What does that do? What does that do? Why is it over there? Why is it over there? Shout out to the people who just were so kind and patient with me in that regard. Shout out to the enthusiasm. Also, when I walked into the station today, there was also a sense of like, weren't you supposed to be on air? Weren't you supposed to be on air? There is a sense of like, Leo, like you're going to be fine. I think at this point, it's just me. So shout out, I remember it was Lundi, the program manager at Val, and DJ T who said that. I was like, guys, I'm trying to figure it out, guys. I'm gonna figure it out, guys. And to be fair, I still needed my content approved, right? So, and also shout out to Sia, who gave me like a template of how to write a feature proposal for a radio show. So, all these things are happening. And I think I'm just overwhelmed. To be honest, I think I'm overwhelmed, but I think I'm also curious. Yeah. I think I'm curious of just to see, where it's going to lead and how it's going to go. And I just wish also, because technically I've been on air for 1.5 years. For those who don't know, I'm also on 919 radio feature, the Sunday Revolution with Chris. And, it's been so amazing doing the show with him, and I just wish I would have documented. Obviously, when I look back and I reflect, I know why I couldn't have done it. There just was no physical way of doing it. Technical difficulties. But we're here now, and I'm appreciative, and, we keep going. If you have made it this far to this episode, I appreciate you. No, really, I appreciate it. The app or the program that I use to, upload my podcasts, it has, stats, and it shows me, you know, where people predominantly listen or where people predominantly download. And I think I had 33 downloads and I lost my entire mind. And I know to a lot of people it may not be a lot, but it's a lot for me and I'm appreciative. Don't forget to tell a friend, tell a friend. I hope you feel safe, you feel seen, you feel entertained. If I made you laugh, if I made you giggle, I think that's the main thing of my podcast. And also, if you didn't know, I have another podcast. It's called the Imagine with Leah podcast. And it is a safe space where we discuss youth-centered experiences, challenges, from poor property management to the changing dynamic of parental relationships to what is adulting to I wish I knew how to build credit because why didn't anybody emphasize the importance of financial literacy, to what the fuck is going on with my skin? Why am I breaking out even after puberty? Just all the things, that need to be discussed. So you can catch that and listen to it on all podcast streaming platforms. I really am trying to build something and I'm grateful for those who, share, reshare, just do the things. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a 5-star review. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to hear. I think that's it. Yeah, I appreciate you. I adore you. Until next time. Bye.